Leslie here for another week with Parenting Paused. So happy that you are joining me. We are gearing up over here at Purejoy to do our next Purejoy Parent Coach training. So if you've ever been interested in sharing all that you've learned, all your experiences with other parents, go check it out at the website at purejoyparenting.com. Look under coaching. There's a coach training. It is one of the most exciting things I do. It's very small, 10 to 12 folks. We keep it tiny, so it's so high touch. You have so much connection with me, with the trainers, with group trainers, with personal process, as well as a practicum of we're working with a client. So if you have any interest in checking that out and learning a lot more about Purejoy, we call it a personal as well as a professional training, go check it out. All right, this week, I want to talk about so many people come to me and they're like, isn't this style of parenting permissive? How can we let our children do this and let them do that? And I always smile because it is such a huge topic that we actually think that we actually let another human being be who they are, right? I mean, come on. So, of course, this is pervasive in our culture. Of course, we're taught that we need to create contributing members of society. We need to teach our children how to be this, how to be that. Well, I had to bust all of that because what I recognized was that I was parenting for the culture. I was parenting for everybody else, but I wasn't actually recognizing what was going on in my own home. I wasn't actually seeing what supported my daughter. We talked last week a lot about, recognizing the child that we have. And certain things in the culture, certain ways of being did not support my daughter, didn't support her in being all of who she is. So at one point, now again, remembering Purejoy, I'm always trying to go deeper into my self-discovery around my conditioning and how my conditioning is so pervasive in my parenting. I came with a template in my home. Now, of course, I wanted to do opposite than my mother, but it was like the same template because I was reacting versus really examining the truth of how I wanted to create an environment for this beautiful little human that I had brought into my life to actually know herself. Now, this was so scary for me because I didn't really know myself. Well, I kind of did, but I was really sneaky with knowing myself because I was trying to know the culture. I was trying to know what everybody else wanted because I'd learned very early, if you can please others, if you can purchase love from others, then you're going to be okay. And yet, that was the last thing I wanted to do in my parenting. I always laugh because I wanted to raise a daughter to say no, just not to me, because it was really hard when she said no to me. And yet this was everything that I had learned I could not do. I had to always say yes. I was always trying to find ways to please and placate the other to get my needs met. So even though I didn't want my daughter to actually be in that environment, it was really, really hard when she said no. And everyone was like, well, you're so permissive. You're letting her get away with things. She can't talk to you like that. And she's disrespectful. And I was barraged with so much information and so many others' judgments about how I was being with my daughter. So know if you're confused, if you're conflicted inside, if you want to create this environment for them to know themselves, and yet it's really, really uncomfortable because it is. It's really uncomfortable to support another human, to be all of who they are. It's messy, it's intense. They're going to have all these feelings. They're going to have all of these behaviors that are going to be activating for you. Now, the good news is that you're going to get to retrieve parts of yourself that maybe you put away to thrive in the culture or in the family that you lived. Now, I always like to say, I'm not so interested in raising a daughter to contribute to society. I'm actually not even interested in raising a daughter. As I say, I'm interested in creating an environment in my home where I can relax, where my daughter can relax, and we can find out who we are. So I decided I was going to fill that environment with as much love as I could. But it wasn't just loving her. It meant I had to fill that environment with loving myself. Now, this changed everything in my parenting when I started recognizing how brutal and harsh and intense I was on myself, because I was trying to fit into the culture. I was trying to be the best mom. I wanted other people to see me. And so therefore, my daughter was a reflection of who I am. So when I finally separated that out, I started stepping into loving myself, giving myself permission. If we're going to talk about permission, I was giving myself permission then to start trusting myself, to start knowing my own wisdom, and to start actually parenting the child I have, like we talked about last week. So I could actually enter into a beautiful relationship with myself and with my daughter. So remember, if you're feeling conflicted inside, if people are telling you you're permissive and your child's going to turn into all of these things, slow it down. Just know that that's about their discomfort. Slow it down. Come back inside and ask yourself, who am I? How do I want to show up in my parenting? All right, lovies, so glad that you're here for Parenting Paused. We have a safe seat process over on the website. If you'd like to download that, a 5-day safe seat process, which is the foundational process of Purejoy. There's lots of other things over there, lots of free stuff, lots of offerings. So check it all out. And we will see you next week on Parenting Paused.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Paused. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Purejoy message out. Come on over to the Purejoy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Purejoy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Purejoy world.